Guys, back to another Moba episode. I'm just gonna say there's gonna be probably fewer more Moba episodes this week. I'm kind of setting up a few new series, and I don't know how many of them will last, but it's been quite a few last Moba episodes. It's gonna slow down for a little bit. Still, it's probably gonna finish by 70 today. But essentially, what we're doing says it's gonna be a bit of a bludge one. I'm just going to show you the code since I've got all the code for them to spawn in. What actually happened is that I'm just going to exit that. There were quite a few little things I was playing around with while I was doing a bunch of stuff, and one of the things I was playing around with was trying to get these characters to spawn in nicely, and I got it to work pretty nicely. I did do a lot of it on camera, but I just wasn't happy if it was like a 40-minute episode and it just didn't cover enough, so I think I'll just cover it now. And then we can obviously go. So I believe there was a game object here called actual game, and you remove that. And there was another one. I think that was it, if I remember. I'll just show you the bits that are different. So the biggest difference is when we start a game, I believe there was something else here. Well, that's what it's going to look like, or maybe it wasn't. Just make sure it looks like that. And load players, and we change this. Oh yeah, this is what we changed. So the biggest difference is you may go. There's a big difference here. We're not calling our old script. This is because we have had to change it to allow it to work, because we are actually now loading a whole new level. Now this is big because this means that we can have like 4 different levels, and all we need to do is just change this variable. We can let the player choose what level they want to play. We can do a bunch of stuff, and this allows us to really advance in the future, and allows you guys to advance in the future. And all that really happens is when you load in the map, then it will organize everything else. There's a few things you've got to know. This don't destroy and load has to be here. Make sure it's nowhere else in the script. I don't know if it would be, but I'm pretty sure I moved it in like another episode that wasn't this one. Guys, you gotta make sure this is only here, because we only want to call that when we're going to load the level. Because once we're going to load the level, the only way you're going to exit the game from that point is by quitting it. There's going to be no back to menu or anything like that. You're going to quit the game, meaning that when you load back up, obviously there's going to be no network there. But this really has to be here when we go to the next level, for people who exit the game, and for us to keep track of who's in the game and stuff like this. So when people exit the game, they can kind of log back in, as long as they're that player. So you see here, when your player connects, if we contain it, we're just going to load him back in. And we haven't actually filled this up yet, but it's pretty easy. All we're basically going to do is we're just going to call this, we're just going to do this. Where is it? Alright. Only on this player though. I don't know how well this will work, but we could just try it. There's no arguments. There we go. That should work perfectly. So what this means is that we're on a player loading. If we already have that player, because when we play disconnecting, we're not doing anything. We're disconnecting the server. If application.scene.level loaded level is greater than 1. Oh no, we want to go is less than 2. So 1 or 0, then we want to disconnect. Because this will make sure the sound exits the game. It won't disconnect everyone. It will only disconnect that player, in which then we will load him back in if he exists. Else, if he doesn't exist, if we're frozen, this means this is just a simple call that we call. I don't know why we call on everyone, but we do. It really doesn't need to be called on everyone, but for some reason we do. This is probably just for host migration, even though we don't have any host migration. I mean, if we decide to add it in the future, then this is a little bit of a nice header that we already have this freeze command here, but it's not a big deal. Guys, if we are frozen, then what we're going to do is we can close the connection to that player, which means that that player is instantly going to be booted from the server. I believe there will be an error, but it won't stop anything. There'll just be an error. There's nothing we can really do there. I guess maybe we could catch and just don't care about it. but I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but that was the only way I could really figure out. And we covered this in another episode. I'm just going through it. Else, then we just add the ID and we do all that stuff, right? So when we load players in, this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. This don't destroy a node is new, and we're loading obviously the new level. And then, every time we load a level, this is kind of annoying that we just every time we load a level, but it's fine. If the level is equal to 2, then we do a list. Honestly, we could do if the level is greater than or equal to 2, because honestly, if we want 3, 4, 5, we're going to do the same thing. Right? It's the exact same thing of how we spawn people. So, this is where it's new. This is where a lot of you guys, I believe, this is pretty darn new. So, I'm going to, so you can obviously start copying that down once I make sure nothing's different here. Oh, these are now arrays instead of what they were before, and they're arrays of 6 because we have 6 players in our map. So basically, make this however many players you have in the map. You can just do something else to make it better, but this is fine. You go, wait. If we're on level 2, then we load level 1. Won't it then do a problem? No, I don't know why I asked myself that question. That was like a really weird hypothetical question. No, nothing will happen. If you're wondering that, that's a weird hypothetical question to ask, because who cares if we're loading another level? It's got nothing to do with this. This is our game. We're loading this level. Character spawn, created, all this stuff is the same, I believe. So, on an application loaded, we have an integer I. For each child in yellow and green, we're doing the same thing. We're getting that child object, and we're just basically saying yellow I is equal to that object. We could do something here like, I don't know, we could do something where we find this object and then we say that how many children it has is equal to how big yellow is. But I mean, it's just not, but it's not going to bother with that stuff. That stuff's fine. Remember, the big thing is we're having integer I is 0 here, because we kind of want to instantiate through all our stuff here. But the biggest thing is, you may go, wait, but there's a problem here. This problem here is that this is a weird instantiation. You know, it's a little different. Why can't we just do a for loop? Because we don't actually know. Because we can't really access child 3, we can't access child 4, we can't access child 5 really easily. And this way for each loops are not, apparently they're not great in C#. I've never noticed a big change, but apparently they're not. I read a few blogs, things that say they're awful from memory. I've not ever encountered change with them, and I've used them quite a bit. Especially when we're loading a level, it doesn't matter. If it does, I mean, I wouldn't do it 24/7, no. I'd use it rarely, I like for loops better, but oh well. Guys, so we're just instantiating through that, and then make sure you're resetting I to 0, otherwise it will be weird. You'll get an index error, and you know that you didn't do this. So if you get an index error, you know you didn't do this. Hopefully I'm getting comments saying got an index error. I think that's pretty good so far. I mean, the biggest thing I've got to say is that there's very few people reporting bugs, and that is amazing. I don't know whether or not it's because, you know, I have a decent sized view, I'd say. I don't know whether or not it's like, no, I'm not getting like thousands of views like other people. Because I've just started out, and I don't know whether or not it's that, like, you're not reaching so much on audience, but I haven't received the thing where it's like, oh, there's a bug here, and it's like, oh, you forgot a semicolon. I haven't received anything like that. I don't know what that is to do with, but I'm greatly appreciative of it. It's really, I think it maybe counts towards some of my teaching. Maybe my teaching's clear enough, maybe I go through things slow enough. Guys, same over here. And then we have G and Y, that's for green, and that's for yellow. You could just call them green and yellow, but I'm lazy. And then what we're doing is we're going through each of our characters, like normal. This should already be here. So don't delete all your on level, or don't delete the function that was here. Maybe if you did delete it, it'll be fine, right? But this is what we had before. For going through each of our characters to spawn, and obviously we had the same equation here, because the fact is that when we're spawning players in, right, we tell them red or blue based on the same formula. So as long as we're making sure the characters that spawn are in the same order that the players joined, then there should be no errors. If there is, it really shouldn't matter. It just means technically you should be on the green side, but now you're on the yellow side for some reason. Who cares? If that happens, I will know. It will be a mix-up between the two things, but it hasn't happened to me yet. I doubt it will. Unless I change scene, which probably could happen. So, going for each one of these. If IA is this, right, so this means essentially I divided by I percentage 2 is equal to 0. That means we're going to spawn a green. So we're going to spawn an object. Prefab. I mean, I guess we could do above here, but it doesn't really matter. Come on. We're saying the parent to green side of G.transform. So this way that we can have 6 different spots to spawn them in, and they will spawn in those 6 spots. So this is a way to split up how they spawn. And this is actually one of the best ways, I think, to split people up. Because it's not really 100% random, but you could easily make it random. Because again, I believe you can randomize children. And who cares if it is randomized or not, really. It doesn't really matter. And it's pretty good because it's quite simple. There's a little bit of positioning and scaling fixing. This is just to do with how things are, how positions and stuff are coordinated with parents. And it's just a little bit of a mess. So we're saying parent. So this is the biggest thing that you will realize, is that your object will always be parented to where he spawned. So that means that when you are pressing your back animation, all you need to do is just teleport back to where you spawned. Very simple. That means there's no or character has just spawned, you gotta code a variable or something like that. It means that your father, your parent, or whatever you want to call it, is where you spawned. So it's very easy for us to do stuff like that. We can move it around regardless of what happens. Right? It's kind of useful for a lot of other stuff we're going to be doing. So we're saying the parent to the green side of G. Same over here. This line has not changed, but here we're doing yellow side of Y. I'll go for this kind of difference. We're getting the position, and we're equaling a new vector 3 of G.transform 4 and Z. So we're doing X, 4 and Z. This means you're not actually going to be inside the floor. Technically it should be this, like +4, and I mean it should be like Y +4. We'll do that now, and we'll make it only like 1, or maybe like that. That way it should work. It won't work really much difference, but it could make a difference. And this is going to be yellow side of Y. So once you finish this, you're going to get your scale, and you're going to equal to a new vector 3 of 1, 1, 1. Very simple. And then we're going to go G++. And this is the difference, is that this is the way to spawn them in each of their individual spots, because that's why we need one for G and one for Y, because let's do 2 different sides, green and yellow. And I know sometimes I say red and blue, and sometimes I say green, yellow, and black and white. It doesn't really matter, since this is just like behind the codes, as long as we say to the player, well, you're black, you're white, even if it says green and yellow, or you're red and blue, even though it says green and yellow, or you're green and yellow, even though sometimes it says black and blue, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's like the whole dress thing again. It doesn't really matter as long as it's behind the scenes. It really doesn't. And as soon as it's coordinated player saying it's wrong, then it's bad, because it means that new people joining goes, wait, why is there this here? Really, you should have side 0 and side 1. You never should really have colors. But we do because we wanted to for some reason. So, I mean, if this was you making an actual game, I definitely suggest by the end of this to go back through and make all yellow, 0, all this, you know, make sure things are the exact same, and you have some coordination between all your code. And that way it should make it a bit nicer. I'll do that one afternoon. But it won't really make too much difference. But this will probably become 0, and this will probably, I don't know, side 1, side 2, I don't know. Guys, this, I don't suggest you just copy and paste this and then just change it, because you probably will make a mistake. I suggest you probably rewrite it. And make sure you're saying yellow side Y, yellow side Y, yellow side Y, yellow side Y. everything else is fine. And make sure you say Y++. Okay, that's an awful lot of explaining stuff. Let's show you how it works. We're going to have Kel as our name. We're going to host a game. No errors so far. We've got all this good stuff. Select our player. Select our skin. Start the game. Here's our player. We'll turn off 3D. We'll turn it over here. I wouldn't mind actually getting a bit more. Oh, I think I need to increase it by 8. So Y+8. I think that's right, because the scales of those cubes are 8, 8, 8, 8, I believe. So few people will be like, "Oh, you haven't shown us how to do this." I will show you right now. Essentially, I just made these things in GIMP. Very, very easy. I'll put a link to it in the description below. I'll upload it somewhere. I know these aren't exact, but who cares, right? Really. We'll just kind of adjust them a bit. All I do is just literally just place them in the world so you can't really see the side. Like that. Okay, you can place them a bit downwards if you want. Like that. Just kind of want them on the same height. Players will spawn right above them. And then what will happen is they will walk off and do all their stuff before this train. Very, very simple. Not too much to talk about. For some reason this doesn't have any... Oh, I see. We'll just quickly fix this. Collider. Then we'll get a collider. And then it's done, I guess. So there's a slight problem. See this flickering? Doesn't happen up here. I can't tell why it happens, but all I'm going to say is that we're just going to have area light, and we're just going to increase the intensity by about, I think 1,000 will be fine. Or maybe not. Now there's a problem where it goes through the surface. That's all because we haven't got pathfinding in yet. Once we get pathfinding, it will be fine, because this train should, hopefully, collide. Really? It doesn't like... I'm wondering why it kind of like collides, but collides really badly. Ooh, there's a problem here. Oh, these can all be removed. Maybe. Everything seems fine, no errors. Terrain. There we go. I don't know, is this going to work now properly? Yeah, see, we go through the wall. I don't know why terrain colors are so iffy that way, but they are. There's nothing really you can do about it. I mean, is a collide, and that's as best as you can really do. It just kind of walks through the walls, but that's it really you can do. Oh freak. There we go. Map 01. There we go. Okay, so let's actually start doing some stuff. So our players spawn in. We need to give them a few things. Why? Oh yeah, we got that. So when our players spawn in, I don't know where they spawn. They spawn here. Okay, we gotta make sure they have quite a few interesting, I guess you could say interesting different things. This is our character. There's a few things about him. He's got to have a sphere. This is going to represent the character's, I guess, face or whatever. It's going to be a sphere. We don't really care. We can change this here. Alright, doesn't really matter. So this has got to be it. But this can just be part of every character, right? This is just default. So we go resources, models. We'll drag this on the scene, I guess. Drag this on the scene too. And both of them will have a sphere. There we go. Now, both of them have this kind of player class, which has a bunch of stuff in it. All this stuff is default, right? We need this stuff, but we don't want starting character and we don't want default. Or do we? I can't remember how starting character works. Oh, this is good for code starting values. But does this matter? Oh yeah, so we set ourselves to our starting character, so it does matter. So we have to make sure that's an awake. We actually don't want awake like this. We actually want a special function. Called... Yeah, why are we doing this here? What are you doing? Fix this later. Yeah, I understand. We're setting the dictionaries. I think this is what we want to do. We initialize our function. Oh no, we don't want to. I think we're just gonna have a new function here. Public void set values. That way we can call it when we're done. So here, when we're here, we're here when we're here. Good job. Is this going to be done on every player? Is. We essentially want to check whether or not this player class is actually ours. How do you know that? Well, we got that under main network, don't we? My character. I guess this could be public. It doesn't really matter, does it? And then username could have it too. And then when we go... Do we have a copy username? Do we any of? Dot character is equal to my character. There we go. So now we have saying here, could my username, and then what we're doing is we're checking if my character is equal to characters to spawn of G. I mean of I. Should know this shouldn't be here. This should be here. At the very end, sorry, that's my fault. There we go. So after all these else statements, if my character is equal to characters that spawn of I, then what we wanna, well, regardless, they all spawn with one thing. They all spawn with stats. So we want to get the we actually want to do it this way. Spawn green. Because this way we're going to spawn the prefab and then we're going to do the characters. So what now we're going to check is now we're going to go dot component and we're going to add stats. Then we're going to go dot add component ooh, I mean, technically they could all have stats by themselves. I think so I understand how it can work. I'm just wondering what's the best way to do it. Because we want to default, this is going to be your special profile thing. Won't do it instead of touching the screen. This is going to be a special profile thing, and then this is also going to be a special profile thing. But this is set by default, or isn't? Oh, I have to code it. Oh, I'm going to code it this way, aren't I? But I don't need to code it. Because if player is down here, for a reason, then I can set these. Yeah, as long as I start a setup, I can set these and stuff like that, and they are fine. Then as soon as I spawn you in the world, you have these stats. Okay, so I don't need to code it, but I can code it. That's good to know. So that's good, but this is for setting up shop. Now this is going to be each specific character, so that's not saying I need to do. So basically all I need to do is just spawn stats. And as soon as I spawn stats, it should run the start function, which is actually what I wanted to do. Yeah, I don't want the special function here. I just want start function. No start function, we'll put it next to awake. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Here, add component stats. Instantly it's going to look and go, hey, do I have a starting character? Yes, I do. Well, my stats are going to equal that instantly, right? If you set your default here, this is fine because it's going to do it on awake. So it's going to do it before the start function, so your starting character should be all awake, right? Nothing wrong should happen. I actually really like my stat scripts. It's kind of cool. Guys, I'm going to change a bit of it, obviously. So we're going to add stats. And then if you're my character, essentially you're going to add movement. So we're also going to add a rigid body. I know people are going, but you can add these on default. Why do you need to add them here? I don't know. I guess you don't. But obviously Kalaya is going to be on the character already. I guess it's the fact I can add it. I don't know. Actually, no, I want rigid bodies to be specific. So I won't add. Adding stats, that should run the stats script, and then here, this is only specific, we're going to add the move to space. Oh, actually, no. Ooh. I think I'm going to finish off for tonight, but I finally figured out how to do it. So there's a lot of changes. Essentially, the biggest difference, I believe we also had, what was it, default up? The biggest change here is that obviously default is a virtual. Make sure you have that. Because you can have multiple forms of default. Essentially, default is our parented class in which we have children of it. For example, I don't know, let's say we have Robot 2, I don't know, or Brainbar, and then Brainbar would be a parent of default, and then from there he can change and have his own awake. And obviously he has to follow, and he doesn't have to follow the shop set. This is just literally just a public thing, so we can do it at any time. Stream public. Unless the shop system reads it, which we have to check. Doesn't look like it. So shop recommended. Yeah, here we go. Here shop set. So this doesn't need public. So we'll remove the publicness, make it private, and then so what happens is you also have a set of character bases. Under your character base, you have this new virtual. Make sure you add this. Nothing else really changed. I don't know whether or not. Yeah, that won't be there. So under here we have game logic to add to. So essentially, all you do is you basically just say, hey, add the script, and maybe I don't know. We could have like a selection of choosing, like a, I don't know, or whatever you want to call it. I can't think. Like an enum of choosing. So you could have things like default script, so on, stuff like that. We could have a split, but right now it's easy just to do it this way. And then this way we can just add this, because you can't actually add it from fields, so we can't have like a field like here saying, oh, your character script, and then here we can't reference that. I mean, you could do it before, but now you can't because they've changed it for some reason. There's a way to do it. Get type, and I was looking up docs, I couldn't find it. So this is in the end, it's something called do the simple stuff, and so I did. I don't know if there's any difference here. This would have all been explained. Just make sure this is go.get compare stats. We have a public character base of my character. And we are just adding my script, and we're just giving it go, and then we're adding move to space. Now, when we spawn our player, this should all work because Brainbar should just inherit this. How about we just try it, and then if it doesn't work, we can try to see what's wrong with it. KL, host, Brainbile. This was the new thing I added. My character is equal to my character. Ambiguity. We gotta change that. Yeah, I think my character is going to obviously stay the same. This can change to personal character. This should all work now. There we go. It was just some ambiguity. Ambiguity. I don't think I'm not going to try. Damn it. Same one. Get component. Username. Let's do it this way. Username holder. Why don't we just do it this way? Easy. There we go. Skins, why not? One thing all we care about. Oh, this will obviously, by the way, will be mucked up. All we care about though is our brain bar has stats. He doesn't have everything we need. We didn't run this. Slash and do that. Let's have a look. Brain bar. Maybe we just check the character name? No. How are we going to check these? The portrait, because the portrait, yes, that's it. Because the portrait will be different for each of the skins. There we go. Oops, daisy. We ran in as literally nothing. Okay, that's weird. We probably don't want that to happen. I don't know. Oh my gosh, it's working. We have our cube. And this cube thing. Has both the default and move to space. And we have our recommend items, which are probably going to be the same regardless. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I think that's it. We finished it. I'm quite happy with that. That's pretty nifty. Hope you guys like it too. See you guys next time.